Last year, Eddie Olczyk picked the winner, the exacta, and the trifecta. And he's also a hockey analyst. Eddie, what are you doing? Are you moonlighting here? What do you have? Let's start with the Kentucky Derby. How much do you know about the horses?
Well, first off, Dan, thanks for having me. Always great to be with you. Well, every squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, but I'd like to think that I have a little bit of knowledge when it comes to the pony. So hopefully, a few people made some money last year.
All right, what do you have for us this weekend?
Hey, there was a big scratch today for the Run for the Roses. Opportunity would look like he's going to be probably one of the top three favorites is out. So have to go back to the Dreyer race board and try to figure it out. So I'll probably have my fix by Saturday afternoon officially.
Okay, but you're only as good as your last pick, Ed. So
I know. Hey, I hear you. That's why
most you've ever won. Uh-oh. Look at Fritzy. Yeah, Ed just got off a plane in Chicago, I think. So Fritzy trying to track him down. Eddie called last night's Game 7 Flyers and the Rangers. Is Eddie back there, Fritzy?
He is back.
All right.
Oh, I get it. I can't give you my pick, and then all of a sudden I just get whacked. Okay.
Hey, it's tough. All right, the most you've ever won.
The most I've what?
Ever won.
At a racetrack?
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to hit a pick six about, I think it's going on almost 4 years ago at Hollywood Park for a half a schmil.
For a what?
For a half a schmil.
500,000?
Yes.
Oh, man.
For $162 investment.
How did you collect? So you go up and... How's this work, Eddie? Forget hockey. So you go up to get a $500,000 on a pick six.
Yeah.
How do they give that to you?
Well, I'm a client of ExpressBet.com, and I went online and I put my wagers in, and next thing you know, it came through and was in my bank account within a couple of minutes.
Wow! Imagine the guy who followed you up to the teller there. I did that one time. Andrew Beyer of the Washington Post, legendary handicapper.
Yes.
And he cashed a winning ticket of $48,000 at the Belmont, and I was behind him. And I was cashing a check for $47. And I thought, oh, my God. I was just happy I won. He's up there. And I go, and you could see where they're ringing it up. And I go, damn, he won $48,000.
That's where you got to go. You got to go rent Let It Ride, one of the best movies of all time, with Richard Dreyfuss.
Dreyfuss, yeah.
It's a great horse racing movie. And I'll take that in all 50s, please.
He's Eddie Olczyk. He called Game 7 last night, Flyers, Rangers. Let me start there.
Sure.
Any surprises with what happened in that series?
I'm surprised at how the Rangers were able to really shut down the Flyers for the most part, Dan. I mean, they really didn't get a lot generated offensively. I mean, I thought the defensive scheme for Alain Vigneault and the Rangers was superb, and that really shut down a team that can score and generate, and it wasn't there as much as we've seen in the past. So I'm not surprised at the result, because Lundqvist, I thought, would be the difference in this series, and he certainly was in the third period. But for me, I was more surprised at how well the Rangers were able to play, defensively in that series.
If you look at the fallout from the Olympics, I didn't know how the Olympics, interrupting the season, how it would affect some players. Has anybody been adversely affected by the Olympics in that 2-week span?
I think at times, and I think the one thing that was really important, Dan, for coaches, for players that had gone over there and played the full allotment of games, was to make sure that they realized that rest was just as important as practice of coming back from the Olympics. Mm-hmm. And you know what it's like, traveling and what have you, but then think about having to put on the skates and the gear and go play over there and then come back, and all of a sudden you're in a playoff run back here. So I think it affected some players at times. But the guys all said to a man that, I mean, it was a tiresome type of trip coming back and then finding your groove and getting back into it. But I think for the most part, the guys that are able to have extended their seasons in the playoffs have found another gear because of the adrenaline rush of trying to go for the Stanley Cup.
I am fascinated by Marc-Andre Fleury. And I know, like with goaltenders, they're just a different group, a different bunch. Some are really weird. I'm sure you played with some strange.
Oh yeah. Most goalies I know are a little off the cuff.
But why are they're almost like relief pitchers? Like there's something about them that they're their own little world because they're back there between the pipes. They have their own equipment, everything about them. Why are goaltenders so weird?
Well, I think if you think about the position that they play, and the guys are coming down trying to fire that piece of rubber past them at 120 miles an hour, and being that last resort of defense, as you mentioned, I think you do have to be a special athlete. I think you have to have a special mindset. I think you do beat to your own drum. I mean, I think it's the ultimate team game. You could argue that until you're blue in the face, but to me, that's where it becomes, the great equalizer. The great equalizer in our game is that guy is there. Really, I mean, he's there by himself, but there are those layers that players have to go through in order to get those opportunities on them. And very rarely, you're right. I mean, they do beat to a different drum. Very rarely you get any guy that's in goal that seems to be normal, like the defenseman and the forward.
Who's the goofiest goalie ever?
Boy, I'm trying to think off the top of my head of guys that I played with. Boy, oh boy. I'm going to have to take the fifth on that one. I'm drawing a blank
right now
on guys that I played with.
Patrick Waugh?
Never played with him. Seemed to be relatively normal from my standpoint, but a guy that was very confident for sure playing goal for all those years in Montreal and then in Colorado.
Who makes the Cup final?
Well, right now I'd have to go rematch of last year.
Wow.
I think you have to go Boston and Chicago. And then Chicago comes out of a tough series with St. Louis, getting down 2 games and then finding a way to win 4 straight. Now they're going to take on Minnesota, and how about that upset last night in overtime in Colorado?
Unbelievable, yeah.
I mean, Anaheim is going to be just incredible. And, the one thing, too, Dan, I don't know if you touched on this or not, but you think about that series with L.A. and San Jose, L.A. being down 3-0, and now it's the second time in 4 years in our sport that we've had a team come back from 0-3. And the common denominator for the two between L.A. and Philadelphia, which they did 4 years ago against the Boston Bruins, is both Jeff Carter and Mike Richards were members of both teams to be able to do it. I mean, that's just incredible stuff. So you got L.A. now and Anaheim, and in the Eastern Conference, of course, you got Pittsburgh and the Rangers, and then you have Boston and Montreal starting tonight. But right now, I would say Boston-Chicago final, just like last year.
Yeah, you guys, it's gonna shape up to be a great final because you got some of the original 6. I mean, you got Minnesota in, as crazy as that they are with their hockey. You got the LA teams that hate one another.
That's the beauty of it, especially at this time of year. But you're right. I mean, Boston had to beat Detroit original 6. Now they get to take on their longtime rival in the Montreal Canadiens, and then the LA Anaheim has got to be that's got to be must-see television, Dan. It really does. I mean, you got 2 teams that don't like each other at all. You have star power everywhere. You have to I give the edge to the LA teams just because of the Jonathan Quick factor. Not sure what's going on in goal with the Anaheim Ducks, whether it's going to be Frederik Andersen or Jonas Hiller. So I just give the slight edge, even though the Ducks have home ice, to the LA Kings because of the Jonathan Quick factor and the momentum that they have coming off that series after being down 3-0.
Great to visit with you, Eddie, and we'll keep an eye on the picks for the Kentucky Derby. Thank you.
I can't wait. Always great to be with you, Dan.
All right. Eddie Olczyk.